Welcome back, everyone, to the Queen of TV channel. Now, a quick thing before we get into the intro. There will be cursing and profanity. If that's not your cup of tea, this channel's not for you. Now to our intro. Hello, everyone. I'm your queen, the host herself. Got that back because I fucked up the intro, but okay. When you are the prince and princesses, you're either a subscriber or you are a viewer. Either way, welcome. Today we will be talking about why I love Will Benjamin. Now, at the end of my Lewis video, I said I was going to go ahead and do the why I hate Zane, Kim, and Sophie video, but then I had realized I had forgotten about Will. So I was like, absolutely not. I'm going to do this first, then I'm going to do the other video. So let's talk about the reasons why I like Will. First things first. The first thing. His relationship with Bella. His relationship with Bella is a breath of fresh air. They have a different type of relationship archetype. With Cleo and Lewis, we had the friends to lovers and learn how to be friends after breaking up and then back to lovers. We got Emma's relationship with Byron, which was a crush type relationship. And with Ash, he was her first real boyfriend. We then have Ricky and Zane, who have a enemies to lovers relationship and a toxic relationship that is built on trauma, not necessarily just romantic feelings for one another. So now with Bella and Will, we have something different. We have more than just two opposites that attract, but we also have two people who look good on paper and could look good on screen and did. So, with that said, she supports him, completes him, she is compassionate. She is well rounded. She dedicates her time to her music. She dedicates her time to him. Even when he's discovering the secret and she has to be harsh with him, she tries to do it in a way that reflects, in a way not to hurt his feelings. When Bella gets hurt, obviously she has flaws. She reacts in a negative way. But deep down, that is due to the fact that her and Will both are just human beings. They don't necessarily make them bad people. It just means that they both have certain reactions to certain conversations that don't get to be had. Like I said, they got to work on their communication. Will with Bella is like her literal rock. He's the one that brings her out her comfort zone. He is the one that has her take risks. He's the one that helps her open up by herself instead of being closed off. He gives her that feel that she is no longer alone. And that is beautiful. They both complete each other in ways that other people probably necessarily wouldn't. Like with Will and Ricky, Ricky is like a shoulder fan in the crowd, a friend, someone he can confide in, but not really something romantic. While for Bella, Nate is just a fucking pig. And we don't need to have a video with Nate because Nate is still Nate, and there's no point me wasting time to give him a video for season 3. Now that brings us to the second thing. This man is a legit human version of what a fucking merman should have been in H2O. The fact that I wanted this for Lewis, right? to give him a different worldly experience, to give Lewis more than just being the tech guy, being the guy that comes in and fix everything, just to give him his own like personality as of what would happen if Lewis was a merman. So like this guy not only can dive deep in deep water, but he can hold his breath and he can literally slow down his heart rate to do so. Not to mention, this man has an actual fin that is the shape of a mer person's tail end. And he literally is human. Like, you teasing me for what at this point? You gave me a merman like Zach and Eric. Thank the Lord Cam not a merman. But Zach is alright. It's that Zach has a hero complex. Ever since it was acknowledged that he was a merman, they make it to where it seems like Zach is needed for everything. This show wasn't even about him. It was supposed to be, but it's not. And I think that's where they fucked up. I don't care what nobody say. Mako Mermaid's got too many mistakes in it. It needs to be addressed. But then they gave us Eric, which you might as well say he a fucking male version of Charlotte without being her damn look-alike. This motherfucker is so manipulative, so full of shit. They should have made either Lewis or Will a fucking mermaid, merman, shit, because it would have been better than what they gave me in the next show. But I guess you gotta take your wins where you can find them. But not only that, but he does this type of thing for a living. Like, he was literally made for being in the water. He connects with dolphins. He likes to collect seashells. He understands what mammals and other fish and sea creatures like. He also is very athletic. Like, this fucker was on a motorbike during the fucking Alps. A mountain? He's a daredevil. So, yeah, like, how can you hate him knowing that information, knowing he's a total badass? That brings us to the third thing. His feud with Zayn. Child, I am Team Will in this feud. Zayn started this shit too. He started this and he kept on going. Will had to keep putting him in his place. Will had to show him he was not no coward. Zayn tried his best. Like, Zayn is acting the way Sophie is with Bella. Zayn sees Will as competition and don't know why. I don't know why. The hell would you see this person as competition, and why would you push him to compete in a motorbike competition if you wasn't planning on having nobody win the motherfucker? Don't understand that. But the fact of the matter is, I think that Zane was jealous of Will, and he was jealous of how good Will and Bella was, especially considering that him and Ricky broke up. So he tried to cause Will a lot of grief. And I just feel so bad for Will because he wasn't really done nothing to Zane to give Zane a reason to dislike him. Like with Charlotte and Cleo, I can understand. Like, I call Cleo out. She was wrong for accusing Charlotte of doing things that she didn't do when they in that episode. But on top of that, Charlotte's disdain for Cleo really resulted from the fact that Charlotte thought Cleo was in the way of her and Lewis being together. But Lewis didn't want to have anything to do with Charlotte. So that's why I sided more with Cleo in that feud. But when it comes to like Will and Bella, I side with them two because Zane and Sophie have no legit reason to have an issue with them. They literally are causing the issue for no reason. Sophie just hates Bella because she doesn't want Bella like convincing Will not to listen to her bullshit, and Zane hates Will because Will's better than him in every way possible. Like, if that wasn't true, then why so many Zicky fans are saying that they think Will and Ricky should be together? Because clearly Will's doing something right for fans to be thinking all that level. But sadly but surely, like, I don't even think Will and Zane's feud got resolved. I don't think we got a moment with the two of them for them to talk this shit out and hash it out. I think they just talked and that was the end of it and they dropped the subject. But it's like, are you too good or are you two still beefing? That now brings me to my fourth thing. Okay, so we talked about him and Bella. We talked about him as a diver, aka should have been a merman, and him and Zane's feud. Let's now talk about his relationship with Sophie. I am glad they did a relationship like this. This is just like the relationship with Lewis and Charlotte. Lewis was in a domestic abuse relationship where it was the guy that was the victim and the female was the villain. She was the aggressor. Now, in this sense, we see another form of domestic abuse, which is sibling, aka family. This is also a form of domestic abuse where you can be abused or extorted emotionally and financially and mentally by a family member. But at the end of the day, it's still domestic abuse. Sophie is extorting Will for money. And obviously, Will's whole thing, if you actually look at it, is totally different from any other experience any other male character on the show had, especially Lewis. Because most people associated with domestic abuse with relationships, they don't really look at family abuse in relationships. So Will is the non-Reddit post version of this. And Will just takes it. And to be fair, it is very fucking sad because she has been doing this to him like for his entire life that it pissed me off so much that it reminded me of literally what started off with me starting to hate Fiona from Shameless because I felt like she got to a point where she felt her siblings owed her something. And when you take care of someone and you promise to like be there for them and you love them and all that shit, you do that out of love. You don't do that shit out of obligation that they owe you something back. Because if that is the fucking case, what was the point of you wasting your energy trying to care for this person just so they could take care of you? You know, you're supposed to love and take care of people because you want to, not because you expect them to give you something in return. That's like you literally doing shit for handouts. Like if you want to get paid for doing something or get some type of validation, I suggest you go get a damn job. But Sophie was the same way. Will keeps saying over and over again he owes Sophie, and I am still trying to figure out what the fuck does he owe her? What did she do for him to make him owe her to treat him like complete shit? Because she's his manager? It is not his fault she flunked out of fucking that she possibly flunked out of fucking school or went to debt one. That's got nothing to do with him. You chose to go to school. You chose to go to that college. That is your business. I'm wondering why your parents ain't helping you, and I'm thinking I got a good damn guess. They don't want to fool with you either. So I'm sitting here thinking to myself, this girl is treating him like this because she can. And then you got Bella coming into the scene, right? Bella's just like, and we're going to keep using reference because I don't give a damn. Y'all got to understand my point. But in Shameless, we see Lip like go out with certain people that actually challenge Fiona and not let Fiona make an ass out of any of those kids. Because Fiona is starting to get to the point where because she's taking care of them, they should just bend over backwards for her, or in a sense, they should allow her to have things because they've already taken everything else. And there's some people in the comments that be agreeing with her. If you go to the Shameless videos and you read those comments and stuff, you find out there's some people that think they do owe Fiona a whole fucking lot. So that is not even true. And I can't wait to talk about Shameless one day because I'm debunking all that bullshit. But Lip went out, which his name is Philip. Philip, the firstborn son, the second oldest. He ended up dating a girl named Mandy Milkovich, whose brother ended up dating the second oldest son, Ian. Yes, Ian is gay. Um, but Lip also dated another girl recently who apparently is a total bitch. I don't like her. I can understand why the family doesn't. But Mandy was the good one. She was the only one Fiona didn't have no power over. Then, like I said, with Ian, Fiona hated Mickey. Fiona hated Mickey. Mickey was the only motherfucking person that brought out the best out of Ian. And she always downed him in Mickey's relationship, and Mickey is the only one that kept putting up with Ian, and he and Ian ended up getting married. Um, then with Carl, there was that crazy fucking girl Cassidy. She got um killed, by the way, by a certain service guard of Carl's who misdirected his words and buried her somewhere in a ditch. Literally. Not the actress, but her character. There was another girl he dated. I can't remember her name, but she prevented him from quitting school. And then after that, he didn't date nobody else because the show had ended. With Debbie, Debbie never really actually had anybody. Like it was just Debbie versus Fiona, and that was due to some shit that was going on backstage apparently between the two actresses. Emmy, like the oldest actress that played Fiona had an issue with Debbie's actress who was a child at the time. So yeah. And Liam was just a little boy. But yeah, there were three out of the kids who had significant others who Fiona did not have no power over because they did not listen to a fucking thing she said. So if those people had stayed around and stayed with them like Mickey did, if the other two did too, I'm pretty sure that conversation that Fiona had that made me hate her after that and look at her differently every time when I go back watching that show, knowing that information, I'm really looking at her character. Honey, she would have not said what she said because they would have had something to say about that. But like I said, it reminded me of that because I feel like that's what Sophie's doing to Will. Sophie thinks that because she's helping Will's career, he owes her everything. She's entitled to his money. She's entitled to the glory of him winning. But here's the thing, just like Philip, Ian, Carl, and Debbie, they all put in the same fucking energy that Fiona did, like Will is doing, to better their lives and actually make it to where they were in life. It was not all Fiona, just like it was not all Sophie. So for them to feel like they owe them something because they helped them that's not love, that's fucking extortion. That is emotional and mental abuse. That is narcissistic behavior. And I do not understand how the fuck I missed that back when Shameless US came out. That is fucking insane that I missed that watching it. And I knew what domestic abuse was around that time that show came out. I knew what it was. I knew what extortion was. I knew what using people for money was. And I was young as hell. And that wasn't because I learned that shit in school or my family told me that. That stuff I just automatically knew. Just automatically knew. But yeah, like, oh my gosh. Like, I feel so bad for him. And the one thing I think I would hate that I had hated in this show is that it took him so long to stand up to her, which is understandable because there ain't no telling how many years this has been going on. Like, we meet her in the seventh episode, and he does not break free of her control until the 19th episode. That that's crazy. That went on for 12 whole episodes. And it took Bella convincing him to swim for himself and him literally having to watch his sister ruin Ricky's relationship with Zane by kissing him after he won that victory. And Ricky was somebody he cared about. That was his friend. So that is insane. After that, she kept trying to convince him to take her back, come back, work with her. Hell no. Go get you some business. Now that brings us to the last thing. The very last thing. Let's talk about. No, I hadn't. Will as a character. When we meet Will, Will is a mysterious figure. We don't know nothing about him. He's a new boy in town who ends up discovering Mako Island. Ricky wasn't worried about him going out there. I have no idea why. But he went out there, found the moon pool, and he was the first one introduced to the tentacle. Throughout most of the show until episode 13, he had been constantly gaslit in the most worst fucking way possible. Like I said in those reaction recaps, I understood when it was Charlotte. I understood when it was Charlotte. But like with Charlotte, that's only because they didn't owe her an explanation as to why they were mermaids. And they were not gaslighting her to make her think she was crazy. They were doing it, which is in a way still bad, but I can look over them doing it to her, not because I hate her, but because they did not owe her anything to reveal the secret to her. Even after they found her grandmother was a mermaid, her grandmother was past tense. That means her grandmother is no longer a mermaid and her grandmother was deceased. They don't owe Gracie nothing, they didn't owe Charlotte's family nothing. So it made sense to me why they didn't tell her. Now, here's Will. Will was literally attacked and assaulted, and everybody else around him is telling him he's imagined everything. I understand they don't know this person, they don't know nothing about him, but like constantly tell him that he hit his head don't make no sense because a lot of shit went down that don't make sense. First of all, how the hell did the three of you get there to find him? That's one fucked up oops. Then the second one is that all y'all, including Lewis, showed up back again when he was supposed to go out to the island. Then he found his damn lantern inside of the rock itself. On top of that, every single time you guys tell him nothing happened, but then at the same time try to get information out of him, and then y'all very secretive, y'all funny around water, y'all act strange most of the time when he talk to you, and y'all try to get rid of him every time. So it's like you hiding something. You making it so obvious you hiding something from him. So of course, he gonna still be suspicious. It was easier for Charlotte because they weren't close to her, they weren't friends with her. But it's weird with him because they literally have to deal with him because he and Bella like each other. And on top of that, he knows them. He goes to school with them. Everywhere they go, he go. Like it's not like he's trying to follow them on purpose. Like he runs into them all the time. So, and you could give a small fault to Bella. But he goes from being this mysterious guy who apparently everybody thinks is a whole big threat when it turns out as time goes on, he isn't a threat. He's a normal boy who has curiosity at best. And he literally is trying to find explanation as to what the fuck is going on and why is this stuff happening to him. And no one is giving him explanation, and everybody's making him think that he's fucking insane when he's not. So then when the show ends and he's able to get past his relationship with Bella to become a couple, him and Zane's feud starts to fizzle out over time, or in this case, Zane, him is still feuding. He's able to overcome his sister's abuse and influence. Him and Ricky reach an understanding of a sisterly brotherly bond. He learns more about the girls. He starts to become protective of them. He starts building a bond with them. We see him in the show with a way that would have made Lewis proud, which is that he tried everything in his power to not only protect Mako, but to protect them from any kind of harm. And he succeeded in that because the secret didn't get found out at the expense of the island, but like there's only so much you can do. So he went from being this mysterious, I'm guessing to some people annoying character, to a literal character who became an ally. So basically, in a way, he became their enemy to becoming their ally. And at the same time, he was able to gain his own confidence. But that's all I got on the subject with Will. Now some saying very quick. There will not be a top 10 um video for certain things, and I'll make a community post about that. I just want to put that out there, and you'll see what I mean when you read the community post. That one will come out at 8 o'clock. But if you made this far in the video, hope you enjoyed the video. You all may not agree with none of the 5 things that I picked for every single one of these characters. But hey, you got your 5 reasons why you may like and dislike these characters. Feel free to let me know. But without further ado, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. You guys have a blessed day. You have a wonderful day. And if no one saw you today, I'm telling you, I love you. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Goodbye, guys.